Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness here on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's Gurnal MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. Unfortunately, we will not have Michael Bullock tonight as he is preparing for the Special Olympics Rhode Island Super Plunge that is going down this weekend. So we're not going to have him. And yeah, so there's really nothing more for us to do here. So we're just going to kick it off, and here we go. Um, Started off with a promo segment with Pretty Deadly, and they brought out Braun Breaker, and they brought out Braun Breaker, Trick Williams, and Carmelo Hayes, trying to bring a little bit of that chaos and friction from the way that they were going to start the whole thing. As of course you guys know, they're going to be fighting it out for the NXT World Title at Stand and Deliver. So I mean, it was fun for what it was worth. It was a good little storyline thing more than anything else. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, I thought it was a fine segment here. I thought Pretty Deadly carried this segment, showcasing their talent and charm while setting up the obvious tag team match from last week's Carnage. The time could have been better utilized, though. I mean, WWE could have announced this match ahead of time and left out the awkward setup. Pretty Deadly have such a distinctive delivery of Stand and Deliver that it should be deemed the only forward. Mello seemed confused why Trick announced Breaker would be his partner, but he accepted the help of the NXT champion when he helped clear the ring. And Trick explained to him that he wanted Mello to study Breaker in the main event. So, solid segment. Pretty Deadly carried it. So, that's my thought on it. So, MF, hit me up with the first match.
All right, and actually, it's something that I know you're definitely gonna like. It's the Battle of the Women.
Yes,
Indy Hartwell going one-on-one with Tiffany Stratton. The winner gets a shot, earns a spot at the NXT Women's Title match at Stand and Deliver, and it was Tiffany Stratton winning the match. Total on-air time. This is not including the commercials or anything else. About 6 minutes, and Tiffany Stratton moves on. So, Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 stars for it. It was a solid match, though it hardly stood out among the many Stratton Hartwell bouts. The buff Barbie doll has looked good consistently as of late, but needs the right spotlight and opponent to push her. She has a real chance to steal the show at Stand and Deliver, and she might even take the NXT Women's Championship as one of WWE's best rising stars in recent months. Hartwell took another loss here and looks ready to take the jump to the main roster. I think she's just cycling in NXT. And NXT showed a message from Roxanne Perez, who confirmed she was still uncertain on when she would be cleared to compete again. Hartwell ducked the springboard moonsault and planted Stratton with a spine buster. And later, Stratton interrupted Gigi Dolan to tell her that no one would beat her in the ladder match. And then Zoe Stark taunted Hartwell, who had a tantrum backstage. So, solid 2.5 stars here. And MF, we might be looking at the odds-on favorite to come out of Stand and Deliver, the new women's champion, Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, and the thing is that am I completely sold on her being the champion? No, but I think I'll give it a chance. You know, I think we kind of have to go back to one of the old mantras. You know, we're willing to give someone a chance with running with the ball here, but if they believe that she could definitely do it, then hey, by all means, let her have her moment. So we'll see. You kind of have to feel like Tiffany Stratton, LA. She kind of got that, you know, daddy's girl, whatever you want to call it. But maybe this might be her golden moment, you know, at the City of Angels in LA, at the Crypto.com Arena, you know, formerly the Staples Center at WrestleMania weekend. So maybe this is her moment. We'll see. So nothing more to say there. All right. So next up, we had was a let's see. Well, it was Wesley coming out, and you know he kind of talked about his North American Championship battle, and my dudes, he chose Dragon Lee to come out. So he offers Dragon Lee a spot, and yeah, he accepts. Then we got JD McDonough, and then Ilya Dragunov. All right, that's it. We got to sell the fight of the night. Dragunov, McDonough, Dragon Lee, and Wesley, fatal four way for the North American Championship? Oh my God. Are you flipping kidding me with this match? So,
There's actually one more coming.
yeah.
It's going to be
five. And
five.
there's going to be a fifth. And we don't even know who that fifth one is. Not yet. But already you got fight of the night written all over this. With McDonough, and we already know what he brings to the table. If you haven't seen Ilya Dragunov, go back and watch the fight he had with Walter for the UK title. Dragon Lee, check any match outside of the United States how crazy this guy is. And we already know what Wes Lee brings to the table. He's been incredible. Anthony Florio, there's nothing more to say. The minute I saw Dragon Lee, I was like, all right, I'm already convinced, I'm hooked. Then McDonough and Dragunov coming in? Oh my Lord, what are they doing?
Well, I have a confession to make, MF. They actually taped next week's episode of NXT last night. So this way the travel people can get to LA early. So
oh, trust me, they're there. A photo just got leaked out about 3 hours ago. They're starting the set for WrestleMania.
Yes.
At SoFi.
That's right. So and that also goes for the people to set up Stand and Deliver as well. So but I know who the fifth is, and yeah, when you see who the fifth is, MF's gonna say those magic words. Shut up and take my damn money. Oh yeah, you're gonna be saying that and then some, MF. I'll drop it in the chat box, and
sure,
and we'll see. And I guarantee you, folks, he'll say those words. Trust me. So, bada boom, there you go. What do you think of that? So, all right. Anywho, all right. Now the match got thrown away, unfortunately, but I don't care. I don't care because are we talking about the segment only, or are we talking about the match as well?
We could talk about the segment only because the match itself, yeah, like you said, it got thrown out.
But it was a damn good match, though.
It was, no doubt.
I'll go as far as to call it the fight of the night, honestly. All right. Where do I start with this? Great match. It was easily 4 stars, but even with the finish, what a great match! As good as these two have been together already, I thought it was the best bout in NXT to date from both McDonough and Dragunov. That was the kind of hard-hitting war that would have made Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Gunther proud. The two leaned into their strikes and barely wasted a second while still selling the total of the battle on both of their bodies. It was one of the best contests on NXT television in years, and a match of the year contender for WWE. It is just a shame that the two could not find a definitive finish. While it sets up Dragunov and McDonough as competitors in the NXT North American Championship Fatal 5-Way, it does leave the question of whether the two can recreate the magic in a future bout. Wes Lee got a strong reaction from the NXT crowd. Dragunov and McDonough traded slaps until the Tsar took over and planted the necessary evil with 2 German suplexes and a rebound clothesline. McDonough nearly knocked out the Tsar by tripping him into the lower rope. Dragunov somehow back to his feet after 2 big German suplexes, then caught his rival with an enziguri. He went for his finish, but the necessary evil countered, grappling him to the ground. And then Lee announced McDonough and Dragunov for the 3rd and 4th spots in the Fatal 5-Way. And he told Axiom he would need to earn the final place in a battle royale next week. So we'll see what happens with that. So, if he gets added to that, look out. there's your show stealer. There's your match of the year right there.
Yeah.
Let's just call the year right here. So yeah, good luck to anything on WrestleMania to try to top that, even though we've got several candidates that can do that. And I do mean several. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, with the exception of one match in particular, maybe two, depending on where that other match goes. But anyways, the match was 4 stars. Very good segment with Wesley and Dragon Lee. And I don't think I've seen Dragon Lee wrestle yet. I know, MF, I know you have, because I know.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, AAA, I'm sure. So,
Yep.
And anywhere else he's been, if he's been anywhere else other than AAA. So
I think he has wrestled in New Japan as well, but I gotta double check that. But I do believe he has done. He has wrestled in New Japan before, in the junior heavyweight division.
I can't wait to see him work. That's all I'm gonna say. So, I mean, MF. I mean, you know what he's capable of. You know his body of work. You've seen him wrestle numerous times because of how religiously you follow AAA, and I know he probably had a ton of bangers over there. So
oh yeah,
yep. So I can't wait to see what he's going to bring to Stand and Deliver as part of that Fatal 5-Way for the North American Championship. We got 4. We need one more. Battle Royale next week. Winner gets that last spot. So, like I said, they taped the show last night. The spoilers are out. I already know who won it. MF already knows who won it, but we're not giving it away. We'll talk about it next week.
Well, yeah, we'll bring it to the table next week. So,
that's right. 4 stars for the match. And we could easily call NA, but Bullock's not here. I don't give a damn. 4 stars for the night. Let's move on.
No, it's 4 stars, no doubt about it. I actually wasn't going to cover it yet, but you kind of jumped the gun on me. But that's all right. It's all good. Now everybody's wondering, hey, wait a minute, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? All right, Ilya Dragunov versus JD McDonough. The match ended in a no contest, and the time of the fall was 14 minutes and 37 seconds. So just to let you guys know what we're alluding to. That was what it was. And then, so we had a big fight there. Great matchup. And, it does end in unfortunately, it does end in a no contest, but it is a 4-star bout. It was amazing. It was awesome. Nothing more to say. So, next up, Johnny Gargano comes out. Then gets interrupted. Let me see. Who comes in? I guess Javi showed up.
Javier Bernal came out first. He came out dressed like Johnny Gargano. He mocked Johnny Gargano, and then Gargano came out and tell him what he did for as far as his match with Grayson Waller goes.
Yeah, well, he basically said it. Non-sanctioned. That's right. You heard us right. Non-sanctioned, meaning NXT has wiped their hands on this one, and even WWE doesn't even want to touch this. So it's basically, you're on your own, you fight, you get it out of the system. This does not go to the records, because non-sanctioned fights does not reflect any records for WWE or NXT. And basically, if you guys get hurt, then you're liable, and we got nothing to do with this. So good luck with that. What? Are you flipping kidding me? Oh my God. Anthony Florio, the last time we seen a non-sanctioned fight in NXT, I think that the word brutality is all I can say.
That was Gargano and Ciampa, right?
Yes.
At one of those takeovers there, back in the glory days of TakeOver. But
I think the lasting image was that they ripped the ring up, and somebody went and they they ripped the ring apart. They exposed the boards, which is a major no-no in wrestling. But they wrestled on the ply boards.
Oh goodness.
And there's no give for that either. So good luck with that.
Yep, and it's it ranks up there and as one of the greatest non-sanctioned matches of all time. Of course, we know what the original non-sanctioned match was.
Shawn Michaels versus Triple H SummerSlam.
Yeah, stole a dang show.
It did.
Many are calling it the greatest match in SummerSlam history. It's I'll tell you that. I'll tell you right now. It's between that one and Bulldog and Brett from '92. Those are the two greatest.
Yes.
So, 1A and 1B. So for the hardcore enthusiasts, you'll go with the non-sanctioned match. For the technical, scientific purists like me, you'll go with Bulldog and Brett from '92. But that's a story for another day. But as far as this is concerned, wow. Okay. What happened here? Now, this is very unique here. What's going to happen is Grayson Waller. He said, "I'll only sign the contract for that match next week, but only if you, Johnny, stay out of the arena for that whole show." The hits kept rolling as the former NXT champion for arguably the best built match for Stand and Deliver. An unsanctioned match is a perfect spot to allow both men to get physical and sell their rivalry. It is night and day watching Gargano in NXT instead of Raw. He is an absolute star on this brand. Hopefully he can carry this momentum forward beyond WrestleMania. And man, I don't know what else there is to say that hasn't been said. I mean, non-sanctioned match, and we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. It's gonna be very exciting, and especially after what we've seen already, especially with that whole home invasion angle we saw the week before. I mean, yeah, Stand and Deliver. Let me tell you. I mean, yeah, the NXT shows on TV usually aren't that great, but this may be the best card, premium live event card that I have seen for this version of NXT, maybe ever. I think this may be the most loaded one we've seen yet. And they're definitely making this feel like an appetizer for WrestleMania, and that's exactly what they're doing. It's an appetizer before we get to the main course, that is WrestleMania on next Saturday. So it's going to be something else. I can't wait to see it. If it's anything like Triple H and Shawn at SummerSlam 02, if it's anything like Ciampa and Gargano from whichever takeover that was, we're in for something really special. These two boys could steal the dang show. So there isn't anything left for me to say here, MF. I could by default call this the segment of the night if I wanted to.
Yeah, and I will not disagree with it.
All right, then I'm going to call it segment of the night. So that's that. So not much more to say. MF, as if we couldn't make this Stand and Deliver any bigger, and the best card that I've seen for an NXT special event outside of the TVs in this 2.0 or whatever era, it's the most loaded card I've seen yet, and they better damn sure deliver. No pun intended.
Yeah, but I think that's why they did this, because of the fact that it's WrestleMania weekend. And there's a lot of other shows, not just WrestleMania, not just Stand and Deliver. This is normally the week that you see a lot of wrestling from many, many, many organizations. As a matter of fact, WrestleMania week starts on Sunday with RWA. The RWA show is this Sunday night, and you can technically say this is going to jump off the WrestleMania week.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So not only that,
and they got Monday Night Raw, which will be Monday night in Phoenix.
In Phoenix,
the only thing that's been announced officially so far, Brock Lesnar and Omos are going to have a weigh-in. Snooze, yep. But other than that, but they're gonna bring the heavy artillery. Other than that, it's gonna be a snoozer of a segment. And then, even though it's a taped show, it's still NXT, the go home show for Stand and Deliver. And then Wednesday you got Dynamite, and then Thursday, a special live edition of Impact Wrestling that's going to be on Access TV, getting ready for a huge Impact Wrestling show that I'm going to preview this Monday night on Ridiculously Raw and a very special Tony's Take, Multiverse United. And that's going to be something else. And then, of course, Friday Night MF, the big show that you're going to be covering, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor.
Yes. And actually, I'll be previewing that 1 week from tonight on next week on basically on Wednesday Night Madness. I'll be previewing that fight card for Supercard of Honor. Not only that, but then you got multiple different wrestling organizations from around the world. You got Beyond Wrestling. They're doing a show in LA. You got GCW. These are all independent wrestling promotions that normally gets covered. Like I said, there is so many different wrestling organizations, not just big time, but even small time companies that are going to be producing wrestling shows throughout the week. And then, of course, the reason why we're all going to be there, WrestleMania 39. That's the 2-night event from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, right in the heart of the LA area. And then, of course, the next night, the most awesome show of the year, the Raw After from Staples. And we already know how the night after WrestleMania Raws normally go.
Well, the last couple of years they haven't been as exciting, but
yeah, true.
But but with Papa H running the ship, I got a good feeling we're probably going to get it back for the first time in years.
Are you kidding me? And based off what I've been hearing and some of the announcements that might be coming, who might be coming after Mania? Oh yeah, it's about to get real. We'll just say that.
Beyond anything else.
So, all right. So let's get back to the action here. Let's get back to the madness. And the next thing that we did have was it was a one-on-one match. Lara Valkyria versus Ivy Nile. And this was actually another one of those tournament matches. Lara winning the match in 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Actually, no, yes, it is. So she advances. I'm a little shocked. Ivy doesn't get the opportunity. She gets knocked out of here. But, I'll get it. I understand why they'll do it. You give Lara a big opportunity here. But if you're Ivy Nile, you're kind of like, what the heck? How is she not selected? How does she not get an opportunity here? I mean, the match was short, 2:53. I mean, you can call it worst fight of the night, too. But, Anthony, it's yours. I'm a little disappointed. I kind of felt like I thought Ivy Nile was going to get the spot, and unfortunately, she doesn't. So, what's on your mind?
I'll tell you. With all due respect, I disagree. I mean, I actually had the feeling that Lyra Valkyria was going to go over here because she is the fast rising star, big new star here, and I'll say it like this: while this was short, the two women were motivated and maximized their minutes. It was a solid burst of energy, aka fun little sprint, that highlighted what both bring to NXT. I'll give it 1.5 to 2 for the effort. Valkyria, and here's the reason why about Valkyria. She's highly valued by the brand and has the talent to work with anyone. She just hasn't quite put it all together in the transition to the United States from NXT UK. Hopefully the ladder match is her big break and will showcase her best moves. And NXT presented a vignette of Valkyria's training for Stand and Deliver. Amazing. In a pre-match interview, Ivy Nile was heartbroken about Tatum Paxley's betrayal. Paxley watched this match closely backstage. Valkyria and Nile traded strikes, challenging each other to hit harder until they both landed on the mat. And then Nile caught her opponent in a dragon sleeper, but she flipped over using the corner turnbuckle to escape. I'll give it 1.5, teetering on 2. Fun little sprint, even though it was only 2.5 minutes, but with a little more time, this could have been something really good. So MF, I know you were expecting Ivy Nile to win, but no. I, with all due respect, I think NXT got this one right because Lyra Valkyria, they're making a big deal about her, like I said, and I believe she's undefeated as of right now, and and they obviously want to present her as a threat to win the women's championship, and I think there's a very realistic chance she could. I think she definitely could. You could definitely. I right now have her as one of the favorites right now. I mean, Zoe Stark might be the favorite right now, with Tiffany Stratton right
I
behind.
don't think Zoe's going to win it though. I don't think it's going to be Zoe. I could definitely see Tiffany win it all, and then all right. Like I said, I'm not completely sold on Lara, but I think I need to see more of her in order to be convinced. But I think that's the best way to say it. I'm not convinced yet, but we'll wait and see.
All right, so that's really all I have. 1.5 to 2, fun little sprint, and who would have thought a 2.5 minute match would be considered a fun little sprint? But I kind of thought it
Yeah.
was, and if they had a little more time to work with it, it would have been even better. But Valkyria's the fresh new star here, and that's all I can say on it. So she should be considered a favorite to win that match, even though I think Tiffany right now is the odds on. Unless they do something with Roxanne Perez, but we're gonna have to wait and find out what they do with that. So, because she's still the wild card and all that. So 1.5 to 2, fun little sprint. So MF, let's continue on.
All right. Well, then we had a whole bunch of promo stuff. I'm not going to get into it because I want to get this thing moving. And we're now to the main event: Carmelo Hayes and Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker versus Pretty Deadly. Breaker and Hayes wins the match in 12:05. Anthony, it's yours.
3.25 stars. It was a strong main event that highlighted the talent and took another small step toward NXT's biggest night of the year on WrestleMania weekend. At this point, NXT is probably comfortable with this as the main event. Breaker and Mello talked backstage, and the NXT champion called out Trick as untrustworthy. The champion and challenger took the ring, and Mello extended his fist. Breaker tried to shake it. Trick Williams took close notes when Breaker was in the ring. Breaker planted Wilson with a released German suplex and a diving bulldog. Second best fight of the night. Solid main event. Predictable outcome. We all knew Breaker and Mello were going to win it, so no surprise here. Keep the momentum on them. Pretty Deadly's only hosting the thing, so 3.25 stars for this. Second best fight of the night. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, no doubt. This was a solid main event. Like you said, 3.25, 3.5. It was amazing. It was as good as it could have gotten, and there's really nothing more to add here. So overall, not bad. I think it was pretty good. I think it could have been a lot more better in certain areas, but I'm not going to be too mad about it. I probably could give this about maybe 6.5, and that's my rating. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 6.5. McDonough and Dragunov stole the damn show as expected. Solid main event to wrap it up. A new match added to Stand and Deliver. Interesting one. 8-person mixed tag team match. The 3 members of Chase U, Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, Thea Hale, they're going to be joined by Tyler Bate. And they're going to go up against the 4 members of Schism, Joe Gacy, Rip Fowler, Jagger Reed, and Ava Rain. And the control of Chase University is at stake in this match. So this is like a winner-take-all match if you really think about it. Because if Chase U loses, Schism gets control of Chase U.
Oh, no. I got a bad feeling about that fight.
As do I.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that next week. So talk about that next Thursday night on that Talking Wrestling TXN special. So that will cap off the WrestleMania week for us. But anyways, 6.5 for me, like I said. So Stand and Deliver taking shape, and we got one show left. It's a taped show. It's already been taped. The spoilers are out, and give them a read, and that's all I can say. So with that, MF, Here's something that was not taped. That was AEW Dynamite featuring a dream match that truly is an MF special.
Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Obviously, the elephant in the room is here, and we'll get there. But first off, what we will say is we started off the show. Let's see, with a 6-man tag team fight. Sting, Darby Allin, and Orange Cassidy versus Butcher, Blade, and Kip Sabian. And it was Sting, Darby Allin, and Orange Cassidy winning the match in 11 minutes and 18 seconds. Solid opener, good matchup. It wasn't the best. I mean, there was a little bit of some clunky moments. Never really got out of second gear though, which is a little surprising because with the talent involved. But it was fine, so I could give this about maybe 2.5 to 3. Anthony, it's yours.
What was that? 11 something you said?
11 minutes, 18 seconds.
3.25. It's one of the fights of the night. High energy match with a red hot crowd. This opener was the perfect start to the show. Sabian, Butcher, and Blade, among the most underutilized in AEW, had the opportunity to shine before the babyface comeback. I never get tired of talking about this. Sting. He's 64 years old now. He turned 64 recently and again proved that he is one of the most electrifying professional wrestlers on the planet, as he had the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand all the way through to the finish. Orange Cassidy was great as usual, and Darby Allin exploded off the screen anytime he was in the ring. There was a lot to like about this one, the least of which was the focus by Allin after the match on the banner for Double or Nothing on May 28th. He figures to be one of 3 competitors challenging MJF for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, if last week's opening segment and a video package airing tonight are any indication. Sabian mocked Cassidy as the commentary team reminded viewers of their history together. Cassidy, staying true to his character, wore half-asses face paint in an attempt to match his partners. Sting rolled out of the way of a top rope attack a la Cassidy in a fun spot. Taz said as Darby tagged in, kind of a lukewarm tag when he tagged in a lethargic Cassidy. Sting's Scorpion Deathlock still pops the crowd. Sting set Sabian up for the Scorpion Death Drop, but took a moment to let the reaction from the crowd build. And Darby stared at the Double or Nothing banner, intensely focused, while Orange Cassidy put his sunglasses on the Stinger. So, Sting may be a no-nonsense guy, but there are times where, he's had fun. He's done some, comedy stuff. He hasn't done much in the past, but, going back to the days in TNA when he was that Joker character and how out there he was. So that's the closest thing to a comedy character he ever was. But boy, he.
There was a comedy moment that kind of a couple of my boys called Sting out on not too long ago. I'm not gonna repeat it here on air, but it had something to do with twisting a guy's chest. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, leave it there, please. Park it there. So, but anyways, a very good opener, no doubt about it. 3.25, teetering on 3.5 for the effort. I would say maybe second or third best fight of the night. It's not the fight of the night. We all know what that is. So, foreshadowing of things to come. So, no surprise with the outcome. We all knew that Cassidy, Darby, and Sting were going to win it, and Sting, as they always say, just gets better with age, man. The man ages like fine wine, and so does his wrestling ability. Unbelievable. 64 years old and still doing things. It's like he's 34, man. It's just amazing what this man is still doing at his age at such a high level. And this is why I keep gaining more and more and more respect for Sting each time I see him wrestle nowadays. So not enough can be said about it that I haven't said on this show already. So 3.25, 3.5. MF, let's move on to the next matchup.
All right. With that said, next up we had was the Guns putting the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line against Top Flight, and it was the Guns winning the match in 7 minutes and 36 seconds. And Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 2.5. I'll give it about 2.5, 2 3/4. As one could predict, it was far from easy. We also had some outside interference in this match. Some old friends of ours, MF, the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, along with Maria. They got involved, and they definitely played a part in the outcome, attacking Dante Martin, and that was that. But hey, the match preceding the post-match promo was fine for what it was and shined some light on the Ring of Honor product by way of the Kingdom's involvement. The heat was off the charts for the Guns as they entered the arena, proving that something is working, even if there are still questions about the booking that got them to the World Tag Team Championship. Taven and Bennett attempted to interfere, but Dante wiped them out at ringside. The distraction set up the finish, though, as the champions stayed the champions. And then after the match was over, FTR comes out and issues a challenge for a tag team title match against the Guns, but the Guns said, no, nothing you can do, nothing you can say, nothing you can offer is going to make us change our minds. You want to bet on that? Because Dax Harwood, but first off, the pop for FTR was otherworldly and the biggest of the night to that point. And Dax Harwood laid it down. If we can't beat you for those World Tag Team Championships, we quit AEW. Gee, I wonder what that could mean. Remember that that little article I sent in the Talking Wrestling TXM Messenger chat some time ago. They said something that they've done something, and they said for legal reasons they cannot disclose what they've done. So,
and I've already alluded to some thoughts. I think I also talked about it privately with you guys, what I think that announcement could mean.
And we just have to wait and find out when they do this match. Will it be next week on Dynamite? Will it be further down the road? I don't know. But that match is official. We just don't know when it's going to happen. So it just depends on the timing. If it's next week, that's really gonna shake things up. It's really gonna shake things up, and it's gonna get people thinking. It depends on what happens with the outcome. If they win the titles, it's obvious they're staying in AEW. Obvious. But if they lose, then what? Then
it opens the door for everybody. But the one other place I could think of, it doesn't necessarily have to be AEW. What if it's Ring of Honor? I mean, there's a Ring of Honor. Definitely Ring of Honor.
Impact Wrestling.
You know, then you got to think, Impact. Obviously, and of course, there's the big elephant in the room, WWE. You kind of know that they have to be involved. You know, could this be Papa H telling them to come home? If it is, then obviously that does open the door. We definitely could talk about it. So I mean, there's a number of scenarios that this could play out in, no doubt. We just got to wait and see.
The outcome. Just depends on the outcome.
And when the fight happens.
Yes, absolutely. Win the titles, they're obviously staying. They lose, let the guessing game begin. Let the sweepstakes begin. Let the FTR sweepstakes begin. And we already have 3, and we've got 3 very likely viable. We've got a lot of viable options. I mean, WWE is the most obvious. You got Ring of Honor. You got Impact Wrestling. Let's not forget about New Japan either.
Because they have worked with New Japan before, so and definitely and then they also wrestled in AAA. So yeah, I mean, any company from around the world has all their eyes on that fight whenever that match happens, because If they win, if FTR wins, then obviously, like you said, it's a re-sign. It's a re-sign. Either they're re-signing with AEW, or they're going probably to Ring of Honor, and they'll probably continue there. Or if they lose, now the floodgates open. Now we see what happens. So, yeah, we'll see.
2.5, 2 3/4 for the match, but the post match promo, definitely the other than the dream match, the big talking point other than the dream match was that post match promo for FTR. Win the titles, they stay. They lose, let the sweepstakes begin.
Yeah, obviously that's exactly what I was thinking. The same thing. That was the same thing that we were thinking of. Let the sweepstakes begin if it comes to that. And yeah, I'll give it 2.5. I think that's the just about right, the rating there. So yeah, pretty good. All right. So with that said, we do move on. Next up we had was a one-on-one match, as it was. We had a promo segment by Adam Cole, interrupted by Daniel Garcia. Looks like they're gonna be possibly on their way to having a fight down the line. That'll be a good match.
Next week.
Stu Grayson versus Jon Moxley. Obviously, this one was going to be Mox. They win it in 9 minutes and 53 seconds. No big surprise there. It was an all right match. Really nothing more to say there. It was about maybe another 2.5-star fight. Anthony, it's yours.
Earlier in the show, there was also a match, just to address just to give it a full recap here. Hook and Stokely Hathaway. Obviously, Hook won that match, so we're not even.
Dud.
Yeah, that was the worst fight of the night right there. By the way, that Adam Cole Daniel Garcia match next week. That's
okay.
So they'll be in St. Louis next week. That's where the show's going to be. And that promo was good enough to set up what should be a hotly anticipated match on next week's show. And Daniel Garcia nearly slipped and called himself a pro wrestler was a nice touch and reminder that he is not necessarily all in on the JAS. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But as far as Stu Grayson and Jon Moxley goes, I'll give it 3 for the effort. Match was very solid, and Grayson continued to look motivated to prove to Tony Khan and the rest of AEW that they were wrong for letting him walk last year. Moxley worked well with him, and the BCC as heels has suited them so far. Grayson delivered a long-distance 450 splash, but Moxley kicked out at 2. The babyface powered out of the Bulldog choke and slammed Moxley into the corner, breaking the hold. And then Moxley broke out the Avalanche Death Rider for the win. So solid 3 for this effort. So with that, MF, we got some women's action coming up next. The continuing battle between the Outcasts and the homegrown AEW women.
Yeah, definitely. This time, you could say this is not really Outcast, but it is what it is. As we had Sky Blue going one-on-one with Toni Storm. Toni Storm winning the match in 7 minutes and 54 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
Toni Storm is a part of, the group with Toni Storm, Saraya, and now Ruby Soho. They are known as the Outcast. That's an official name.
But the thing is, you were talking about the homegrown, and that's why I had to
Sky Blue.
I had to disagree.
They mentioned commentary actually put her over as homegrown. So
yeah,
so that's what they said. So,
I disagree. I disagree with that. I disagree with that because I seen Sky Blue in many other promotions than AEW before she became big. I cannot call her homegrown. That's not. I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that narrative.
All right, fair enough. All right. Well, but anyways, another 2.5, 2 3/4. For the first time in a long time, it feels like there is a plan with the women's division, and that is a welcome change of pace. But then after the match was over, the Outcasts teased spray painting Sky Blue only for Willow Nightingale and Riho to chase them off. So using Nightingale, Riho, and Sky Blue to work with the Outcasts and saving Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter possibly for Double or Nothing is a smart move. Those three baby faces are universally loved and can earn Saraya, Storm, and Soho heat. That inevitable trios match can be built to and used as a high-profile addition to Dynamite or Rampage before moving the heels on to Baker, Hayter, and whoever Tony Khan produces the team with them. Saraya and Soho stomped Blue on the arena floor, unbeknownst to the official. Riho rushed to the ring again with an abnormally thick lead pipe. The babyfaces cleared the heels out of the ring and stood tall, daring them to continue the fight. So 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. So not much more to say here, MF. It looks like we're looking at a possible Saraya, Storm, and Soho match with Nightingale, Sky Blue, and Riho down the line.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be much of an argument. This is going to be a pretty good match if they go there. So yeah, I think they did pretty well. I thought the storyline was very good. We'll see how it plays out, but I think overall, yeah, they did a good job with it. So there's really nothing more to add. So all right, so next up, guys. Well, is it? All right. So next up, well, it's the main event. It's the big one. It is the one that I think everybody was waiting for. Kenny Omega versus AAA Mega Campeón, El Hijo de Vikingo. And it was Kenny Omega winning the match. 17 minutes and 1 second. It lived up to the hype. It lived up to the hype. Everybody was talking about this match. This was the highly anticipated dream fight. This was a match that we were supposed to have at Triple Mania about a year ago, but the fight never happened because I don't know if it was because of Kenny getting hurt or if it was COVID related, but we finally got the match. We finally got the fight, and it happened. So, amazing main event. Incredible fight. There's really nothing more there to say. Anthony, 4.5 to almost 5. It was an amazing main event, but after the match, Don Callis, because a brawl broke out, Blackpool Combat Club jumping Omega, Hangman Adam Page came out, everything was fine. Well, what the hell happened? So we're gonna have to wait and see, and yeah, so nothing more to say, Anthony. I mean, this was a dream fight. You got to see. I know you've seen El Hijo de Vikingo a little bit, not much, but this is the first real time you get to see him. What do you think of the AAA Mega Campeón?
He's unbelievable, MF. I was glued to the edge of my seat for this one, and I had a scenario where they brought you in as a guest commentator for this match, and considering I consider this an MF special because you know the history of both of these men. Kenny Omega, we know his resume, his body of work speaks for itself. This match was supposed to happen in December of 2021, but because of the injuries that Kenny Omega suffered against Hangman Adam Page at the Full Gear when Hangman took the title from him, that sidelined Kenny and he needed the surgery. That's why he couldn't have the match. So, but we got it tonight, and it definitely most assuredly lived up to the hype. I mean, I don't think I ever saw Vikingo wrestle before, but if I did, I don't remember when it was, but I damn sure remember the night. And commentary made a great point. If you didn't know who he was before tonight, you damn sure know who he is now. And I damn sure know who he is now. I mean, I can see why he is the face of AAA, why he is the Mega Campeón, and why he's been so for the last 473 days. I mean, insane. I mean, where do I even start? If you were too preoccupied, to fire up Google and find out who El Hijo del Vikingo was prior to tonight's show, you sure as hell know who he is following a breakout performance that introduced the best high flyer in the business to a new section of fans. The competitor out of AAA in Mexico stole the show and commanded attention with an unmatched aerial arsenal that was on full display against former AEW World Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega. Billed as an international dream match throughout the night, Vikingo and Omega dazzled with unbridled athleticism, each spot up in the ante until a vicious V-trigger and one winged angel put Vikingo down for the count. It was a fantastic display of athleticism and a breakout performance from Vikingo that announced to the world who he is and what he is all about. You could not have asked any young star from any other promotion in the world to come in and accomplish what he did at the level he did. I only have one small bit of constructive criticism, as great as this match was, and I agree with the rating, 4.5 stars. The match itself felt like it was missing something. Maybe it was a cohesive story. Perhaps it was a thread that tied all of the spots together. Excalibur alluded to it on commentary, mentioning the Young Bucks attack as being particularly distracting for Omega, but it would have been nice to see him play that up in any aspect of his performance, even if it was a momentary interaction with Don Callis on the floor. Lacking the bow that ties it all together was really the only thing keeping this one from achieving rarefied air as one of the best Dynamite main events in the show's history. And then after the match, Blackpool Combat Club attacked Omega until Hangman Adam Page drove one of the ambulances back to the arena and made the save, only for Don Callis to fake a bump and blame it on Hangman. This was the second attempt by Don Callis to get Kenny Omega to ignore his friends or create some sort of schism between them, clearly seeing his meal ticket slipping away from him. Eventually, Omega will tell him off and split from the heel manager for good, but it'll be interesting to see how many twists and turns there are until we get there. Long-term storytelling and booking. Where have we seen this before? Oh, yeah. Papa H. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, anyone?
But I also have to admit, Tony Khan and AEW has been pretty notorious for long-term story booking, and they do it. There's been some that's been swing and misses, but there's been other times where they've been pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, and we definitely know where this is leading. It's gonna eventually we're gonna get the reunion. We are gonna see the Elite get back together. We're gonna see Hangman reunite with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And, you know, I think they're going to go about it the same way WWE did with the whole KO and Sammy thing. But, all right, where do I even begin with this? Vikingo wiped Omega out with a tope suicida before the bell, interrupting the former champion's entrance. Excalibur set up the story of the attack endured by the Young Bucks, weighing on the mind of Omega, resulting in the early rout by Vikingo. Omega delivered a monkey flip onto the ring apron, a la MF. Vikingo delivered a Dragon Rana off the top, sending Omega crashing to the floor below. Vikingo countered a powerbomb off the top rope and drove Omega's head into the mat in a terrifying moment. He followed up with an inside-out springboard Phoenix splash. And then in a moment that made MF, it's not often we hear MF do this, but he did it. In a rare moment that made MF actually yell out, "Ay Dios mío!" Vikingo followed up a diving poison Rana with a 630 senton from the ring over the top that drove Kenny Omega through a table. And then Don Callis feigned being attacked by Hangman, even bumping, looking to further the separation between Page and Omega. So 4.5 stars. Fight of the night, no question about it. Incredible match. And Vikingo is unbelievable. I mean, I never saw him. I don't remember really seeing him in action that much before tonight, but it was a treat for me. It was an experience for me, and I certainly would not mind seeing more of him in AEW or anywhere else anytime soon. That is one tough hombre, my friends. Let me tell you. And wow. And MF, you know this better than anybody. I do not impress easy, but I was damn sure impressed tonight. I will say that. So, well done, Vikingo. You earned my respect tonight, son. So, oh, what a match. So, MF, you obviously know his history much better than I do. I know this was another. I know how you obviously know the history more than I do, and I'm sure you were very impressed as much as I was, and I mean, they built it as a dream match, and it lived up to the hype. A little more. I just needed that little bit more, and then maybe I would have talked about 5. But 4.5, I believe, is the correct rating for this match, and absolutely incredible. And that year and change, that almost year and a half that we've had to wait for it. December 2021, we were supposed to get it. We finally got it tonight. Well worth the wait. So well done. Fight of the night. And nothing left for me to say there. So, MF, let's move on to the overall review.
All right. And actually, Anthony, you lead off on that overall review.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Meaning about 7.5 to 8 here, mainly because of that main event. That main event stole the damn show here tonight. No surprise. I mean, when I heard about this match, I'm like, this is going to be something really good. I got to see this. And then Vikingo impressed me. So very, very, very impressive, to say the very least. Omega made him look like $1 million, so no surprise there. The opener, second best fight of the night, Cassidy, Darby, and Sting against Butcher Blade and Kip Sabian. Solid match with Moxley and Grayson. Set up a couple of good angles here. You got Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole. Daniel Garcia will be Adam Cole's first opponent. Adam Cole's first match since his great comeback. He's definitely putting himself in a position for a comeback wrestler of the year already. So, and if he lives up to that hype, I think we'll be calling his name come the end of the year. So, in our year-end award show. So, yeah, 7.5 to 8, mainly because of that main event alone. So, solid Dynamite. It wasn't like overly spectacular, but that main event though, go out of your way to see it. So that's all I can say on that. MF, take it home.
Yeah, I'll give it 7.5. You're totally correct on that as well. We basically touched on it. So, right before we get on out of here, there was something that did happen. Normally, I don't do a Mikey's Mindset here on Wednesday Night Madness, but it needed to be addressed. There was a big AAA event that did go down last week. It was the Lucha Libre World Cup. This is the 2023 edition. And, well, here it is, guys. So here are the results of that. We started it off with the Dream Team. The aforementioned El Hijo de Volcano, Alberto El Patron, and Psycho Clown. They went up against Team Latin America, which was Hip Hop Man, Zambia, and Carlito. Yeah, Carlito Caribbean Cool. So the fight ends in a draw. However, under the World Cup rules of Lucha Libre, after the match is over, then you're designated one man each to fight out one-on-one in a sudden death match. It was Carlito versus Alberto El Patron, and Alberto El Patron wins it for the Dream Team. They advance to the semifinals, knocking out Team Latin America. Then we had Team USA versus Team Japan. Team USA, Sam Adonis, Johnny Caballero, and the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels versus Team Japan of La Estrella, Takada, Nashikawa, and Kanushika, representing Pro Wrestling Noah. But it was Team USA. They win it. They advance to the next round. Then we had Team Mexico, Black Tortoise, Pentagon Jr., and Laredo Kid. They went up against Team Rest of the World, as it was Classy Ali Rage, and Bozega Guardia he is from India. Team Mexico wins the match. They advance. Then we had was Team Canada versus Team Europe, as it was Team Europe, Joe Henry, Tom Leader, and Hendy Kanaru versus Team Canada. And Anthony, you should know these guys very well. Vampiro, PCO, and Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander, of course, many of you guys know, the reigning and defending Impact World Heavyweight Champion. However, it was Team Europe winning the match, and they advanced. And then we had a women's tournament. Of course, there's a men's and women's. So we had was in a semifinal match, Team USA, Diana Perazzo, Camille, and Jordan Grace. They went up against the rest of the world. This was Natalia Markovic, Natalia Markovic, and Taya Valkyrie. And it was Team USA advancing to the final. They went up. Next up we had was Team Mexico versus Team Japan, as it was Ako, Muzukata Osaka, and Amasakura. They went up against La Hornesia, Sexy Star 2, and Flamaria. Team Mexico advances to the finals because it went into sudden victory, and La Hornesia takes out Ako in that match. Then it was semifinal match, Dream Team versus Team USA. Team USA wins the match via going into sudden death. Sam Adonis took out Psycho Clown to win it. Then we had Team Mexico. They went up against Team Europe. Team Mexico wins. They're off to the finals. Now, in the final match, Team USA versus Team Mexico in the women's final. The United States of America wins the women's tournament. Team USA, Jordan Grace, Camille, and Diana Perazzo, the virtuosa, wins it for the US of A. They are indeed the Golden Girls for Team USA, gold medal winners of the Lucha Libre Copa Mundial 2023. And in the men's final, it had to go into 3 overtimes into this one, but Team Mexico wins it, beating Team USA, as it was John Morrison, Johnny Caballero, going up against Pentagon Jr., and they had to go 3 times. It was a triple overtime, but Team Mexico winning the match, winning the tournament, and taking down Team USA. So that was it. The Lucha Libre World Cup is in the books, and we'll probably get to see this again possibly in 4 years. We'll probably get to see this tournament again in 4 years, because the last one was in 2017, 2023. So I don't know, maybe 6 years from now. Who knows? But whatever the case may be, there it is. That's your results. We're done. We're out of here. So tomorrow night is TXN Sports World. Anthony Foley will come on in. I know one thing for sure. We're going to be recapping and we're going to be previewing the NCAA tournament, and there's some other stuff in the pipeline as well, including a preview of Major League Baseball and, of course, the recap of an incredible WBC.
Incredible WBC, capped off by a very exciting final that we had last night, MF. What a game that was. We have a winner. We have a champion of the 2023 World Baseball Classic. We'll let you know who that was as we will recap wrap up our coverage of the World Baseball Classic. Of course, on top of that, we've also got We also have week number 6 of the XFL, including, how about this? A Monday night game. Yes, I said it. A Monday night XFL game. Oh, by the way, that Monday night XFL game is the game of the week. Go figure. So, but we'll get into all the XFL action tomorrow. And then on top of that, we also have 2 huge coaching moves in college basketball. And they revolve around Big East teams. 2 Big East originals, as a matter of fact. St. John's has a new head coach, and Georgetown has a new head coach. And we will we'll discuss those. And then, of course, in the main event, of course, our continuing coverage of the NCAA tournament as we kick off the Sweet 16. My games will be in action tomorrow. I'll be having Arkansas against UConn. And I got the rematch. The rematch from the greatest tournament game we ever saw from 2 years ago. One more time, Gonzaga and UCLA. And we'll also preview the games that MF will have on Friday. Miami, the remaining ACC team, they're going to go up against Houston. And you've also got Xavier in Texas on top of that, MF. So, good one. You got a couple of good ones down there. So, but we'll get into all of that tomorrow night. And so here we go. World Baseball Classic, obviously. That's going to start it off. And then we'll preview the Major League Baseball season. And then we'll get into week 6 of the XFL. And then college basketball tie-in. The 2 big head coaching moves for St. John's and Georgetown. And then, of course, the main event, continuing coverage of the tournament. And if all goes well, maybe bonus commentary. Maybe. We'll see. You never know. So
we've had a little bit of bonus commentary on both nights. Just, one game that kind of stood out, that kind of piqued our interest. So it's possible.
Very possible. So the usual start time tomorrow, 10:30?
Yes.
All right. So 10:30 tomorrow night, Tone 25, TXN Sports World. Enjoy it, because we're not going to have a show next week because we got special programming the following week. But we'll be back with that on Thursday, April 6th. And on that docket already, it'll be week number 8 of the XFL. And then on top of that, we'll also recap the NCAA tournament because we'll have a winner by then. So that's it. So with that, MF, hit him with the rest of the future content.
Yeah. So tomorrow, and then on Friday night, Cerebral Smack Talk per the usual, as we will have recap SmackDown Live. We'll also
Rampage is on Saturday, actually.
Actually, do you want to do the show on Saturday then? Just so that we could tie it in?
I mean, it's up to you. I mean,
yeah, let's do it Saturday. We'll do Saturday, guys. So we'll do a special Saturday, 10:30. And yeah, we'll do it that way.
SmackDown and Rampage.
SmackDown, Rampage, and our preview of the RWA. Cash is King. And then, of course, on Sunday, for all you fans out there for RWA, we're going to be there. But this time, you're getting the 2 dudes with attitudes. You're only getting myself and Anthony Florio. Michael Bullock obviously will not be there because he's got major commitments beyond our control.
Indeed.
And we'll be there. So we'll be there, and yeah, we'll set it up, and we're going to have a good time with it. So nothing more to say. For all of us here, for Anthony Florio, I'm Michael Fletcher, and have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night for TXN Sports World.
Goodbye.